We won't see Deshaun Watson tonight in the game. We won't see Josh Dobbs, apparently, either. It's going to be Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond.
This is my day right here.
Kellen Mond.
It's all my under-the-radar blue-chip quarterbacks and my draft analysis here.
Was Kellen Mond drafted the same year, or was he a year earlier? He was a year earlier, right?
Yes, he was a
I've
year
lost
earlier.
track of how long he's been in the NFL.
Too. Yeah, right. Well, Kellen Mond he was that year.
Yeah, he was.
He was
Third
that
round
year.
pick.
Right, yes.
Third round pick in 2021.
Right.
And the Vikings gave up on him after 1 year.
Yep.
I think former Vikings coach Mike Zimmer wanted to give up on him during that 1 year.
Like it, right.
And he's been in Cleveland quietly, but he'll start tonight, and Dorian Thompson Robinson will play. Here is both Mond and Thompson Robinson talking about playing in tonight's Hall of Fame game.
It's always difficult, and obviously, your whole entire life, even going through college, you've played every single year. And then you get to the NFL. But at the end of the day, us players, once you start to get a little bit older, you start to realize it's a business. And like I was saying earlier, it's all about what you put on tape. So I'm just looking to go into the game, put good film on, and then just play with efficiency and put the ball in the end zone.
It's going to be super exciting. I'm obviously going to have family there and close friends, so super excited to be able to have them there and share that experience with me. But I'm ready to just go out there and get an opportunity to play. Being a rookie, you don't really get as much practice reps, so finally being able to get in the game and, the time is yours, and you get to go out there and show what you can do is fun for me. So.
Yeah, hey, national TV, chance to go out and play, chance to attract some attention elsewhere if you're part of that churn.
That's right.
And there's always that churn of the quarterbacks that are moving around as the pieces shuffle. While I'm thinking of that, because we were privy to some discussions yesterday about how this third quarterback rule is going to play out.
Right.
And the third quarterback rule is something that came up this year, fueled by the 49ers' experiences, their misadventures in the NFC Championship game where Brock Purdy gets injured and then Josh Johnson gets injured and they got nothing. It's either Christian McCaffrey with a wristband or it's Brock Purdy just handing the ball off because he couldn't throw it. Yeah. And it was a disaster for the NFL. It was a bad look. So they bring back the third quarterback rule, but there are different aspects of it this year. And one of the requirements to even have three quarterbacks dress on game day is to have three quarterbacks on your 53-man roster. And I've gotten the sense that the NFL's attitude toward that is, well, not many teams are going to do it. Only 12 had three last year. I think more will this year.
I think so, too.
If you can dress that extra person on game day,
right,
even though he can't play special teams,
right,
he can't line up in anything but under center or shotgun, I think more teams are going to carry a third quarterback.
I would think so. It's an interesting discussion. I think there's a lot of debate about this from teams that I've talked to a little bit. But I think with the violence of the game, how important the position is. We've seen injuries for a handful of teams where we've gotten to third string quarterbacks over the last 2 years. I do think the NFL coaches are leaning a little more. Wait, let's stop worrying about having a seventh receiver on the roster or on the game day or the extra special teams guy.
But you can still do that. That's the thing now.
Yeah, right.
You
That's
can
right.
have
That's
that extra guy.
base.
This is an
That's
extra
right.
person you can put in uniform. That's the enticement to do it. That's the factor that changes it. So the idea that, only 12, if I'm getting that number right, only 12 had three quarterbacks on the 53 last year.
Right.
Well, only 12 will do it again. No, because there's an extra incentive to having a third one.
Yeah.
You can dress him on game day.
Right.
And you can have him available.
Right.
If the first and second string are out, whether they're kicked out for some sort of on-field infraction, injured. But the weird wrinkle is the moment one of them is healthy again,
they have to go back in.
You got to go back in,
which I don't get.
And we've identified.
Yeah, I think so.
That there's a potential. And we talked about it at the time.
Right.
There's a potential for shenanigans.
I guess there is.
Where the third quarterback is lighting it up, and the second quarterback is cleared, but the coach is like, well, maybe we should maybe the X-ray's a little fuzzy.
I know, but still at the same time,
we need a second opinion.
I want to be like, why does the NFL care?
I know, it's weird.
Well, why?
Weird.
The only thing we were thinking about where the NFL with the quarterback and the way it's set up is the first two quarterbacks get hurt. The third quarterback comes in, he gets a hot hand. They're running some quarterback design stuff with him. Say it's like a Strebler, and they're going, whoa. They weren't prepared for this quarterback design run stuff because we don't do this. Our other two quarterbacks don't do it. All of a sudden, that's kind of working. Right? Now the guy that was the second string quarterback, he's back on the sideline and he feels good. the coach might want to go, hey, we got something rolling here. I want to stay with the third. But with the way the NFL rules are set up, that, yeah, the second guy has to go back in the football game. And that, to me, makes no sense. I don't understand that
And
at
that's
all.
the big difference between third quarterback rule now and the way it was before. The way it was before, if the third quarterback entered the game at any point in the first 3 quarters, the other 2 could not come back in no matter what.
Yeah,
The third quarterback
right,
had to ride it out.
right.
Fourth quarter, it was open
I don't know
season.
why you
could
wouldn't
put
do
in any
it,
guy
to
you
your
want.
point.
And that's,
Yeah,
like,
right.
it was never explained. It was never brought up. I don't see any articles anywhere. I don't see any quotes from anyone as to why they just didn't bring the third quarterback rule back the way that it was, and why there's this new thing where he can only play as long as 1 and 2 aren't available. The moment one of them's available, 3 has to come out no matter what. And it does create an avenue for shenanigans.
Right.
I think the league would say that third quarterback is never going to be so good that it'll be an issue. You're always going to be happy to get back 1 or 2. I don't necessarily agree that that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, I don't know if it's always would be the case either. You're right. You're right about that. But they're going to squash that, so it's not going to happen. But hey, the Cleveland Browns, they got 4 quarterbacks right now. They do.
And that's why we got off on this tangent.
Right.
It's important
because
because Dorian Thompson Robinson may find a home somewhere.
Yeah.
He may play his way into a home somewhere because teams may be looking to have a third quarterback on the active roster. And we know that teams have a third one on the practice squad anyway.
Sure.
Sometimes a fourth one.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, do you shift that guy from practice squad over to active roster?
Exactly
because
right.
then he can dress.
I think there's a good chance you could see maybe like a Kellen Mond. Maybe he would fall into that mold. I don't know. If Kellen Mond plays really well, right? And Kellen Mond is a guy, again, that has incredible talent. I think with Kellen Mond and Dorian Thompson Robinson, people see the talent. It's the other it's actually back to almost Zach Wilson-ish type stuff in the conversation. At least that's where I've been led. Like, maybe just not quite mature enough yet. Maybe not ready to lead men. Not always accountable to their actions and the things they do wrong. Those are the things that I've heard about both of those guys we just saw there. But in my draft process, when I don't always get to meet these guys, but I watch film on Kellen Mond or Dorian Thompson Robinson, I was very impressed with their skill set and how they play the football game.
I forgot you were so high on Thompson Robinson.
Yeah, right. He was in my top 5. I mean, again, he was a guy I looked at to go, well, what isn't there to like about the guy and how he plays the position? And really, I liked him on film better than I liked Will Levis. I did. He's a natural. He's smart. He's got a strong arm. He moves well in the pocket, right? He executed a kind of a pro-style offense in Chip Kelly. So that's where I looked at it, where I really like him. But I think it's a little of the other stuff, the intangibles and things that need to grow there. And I would think Kellen Mond would have a chance to, maybe even supplant a Josh Dobbs as being the backup quarterback in this whole conversation when this is all done. We'll see where it goes, but I'm excited to see these two tonight.
It could be Watson, Mond,
and DTR.
Thompson Robinson.
Right, exactly. Right. I mean, we know what Dobbs is. The NFL knows what Dobbs is. Mond and DTR have potential. Dobbs is a third-string quarterback. That's really what he is at the end of the day. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I know he's a fine young man, and I'm rooting for him. But, we've seen enough from him in Pittsburgh and what he did last year, a little with Tennessee, that there's nothing special there. These guys, I think, have a chance to, unlock something a little bit in their physical ability.
I was impressed with what he did on that Thursday night game late season against the
composure
Cowboys.
And all that is awesome. You're
Thrust
right.
into
exactly right. That
finally getting a chance to play.
No doubt about it. Hung in there, kept the game competitive for a while. No doubt about that.
From the Lions practice squad 10 days earlier.
That's where I feel like that's what I've heard. Like, that's Kellen Mond needs to get that. DTR needs to get that, right? My fault, coach. Oh, I'll take accountability for this. Oh, I can do this better, blah, blah, blah. I think it's the leading of men that maybe made them fall off the radar for a few people in this process.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.